Hello everybody, this is going to serve as a quick reteach of our lesson on slope. So if you remember, slope refers to the steepness of a line, and when looking at a graph you can think of it as the rise over the run. And if we want to find the slope of a line whose equation is 2x minus 4y equals 10, we can actually use our slope-intercept equation, which is y equals mx plus b. And m in this equation is our slope. So we want to be able to rearrange this equation so we can see what number is with m. So I want to get y by itself. I'll first subtract the 2x term on each side, 2x minus 2x. These two actually cancel each other out because they are opposites. And you're left with a negative 4y. Make sure you keep the negative there, the subtraction. Think of it as a negative 4. So negative 4y equals a negative 2x plus 10. Now I want to put the 2x term first, the minus 2x term first, because this is the number that is going to represent our slope when we're complete. And so I want to make sure my equation is in slope-intercept form where it's y equals a number times x plus or minus a number. So finally, I want to get y by itself. Right now I have a negative 4 times y. If I divide by a negative 4 on every single term, you will end up with these two canceling out and you're left with y. A negative 2 divided by a negative 4. The two negatives cancel out, and with slope you want to leave it as a fraction so you can easily see what the rise and the run are of that number, but you want to simplify that fraction. And so 2/4 actually simplifies to a 1/2. And since there's two negatives, again, these two cancel off. We still have x, and then 10 over a negative 4. You can leave it as a fraction, just reduce the fraction, or you can write it as a decimal. I'm going to write it as a fraction. So a negative 10/4 would simplify to a negative 5/2. So since we have it as plus a negative, really you could write it as y equals a 1/2 x minus 5/2. And our slope is right here. Slope is the number in front of x. We call that the coefficient of x. So the slope of this equation is 1/2. When you're actually calculating out the slope, if you're given 2 points and you want to find the steepness of the line, you can use our slope equation. And our slope equation uses this, where we've got our 2 points and we're going to subtract the rise, or the change in the vertical distance, so our y coordinates, over our x coordinates. So if we calculate this out, if I say that this is my first point and this is my second point, I'm going to subtract my y coordinates in my numerator. So the y coordinate of my second point is a negative 4. So plugging it into our slope formula, negative 4 is my second y coordinate. So a negative 4 minus my first y coordinate, which is 5. So negative 4 minus 5 over the coordinate x of my second point, which is 0. So 0 minus the x coordinate of my other point, 2. And then you just simplify. So negative 4 minus 5, think of that as adding the opposite. So negative 4 plus a negative 5 is a negative 9. 0 minus 2 is a negative 2. And since we have two negatives, this actually simplifies to a positive 9/2 for the slope of those 2 points. So again, you can use your slope formula to subtract the distance of your vertical change of your two y coordinates and the horizontal change of your two x coordinates, so the rise over the run. One more example, if you want to calculate from a graph, you can either list the coordinates of the 2 points, so negative 4, 4 is this point, and this one is 5, negative 2. So you can use your slope formula where it's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1, or you can simply count the distance between those 2 points on the graph and then simplify your fraction. So the rise is your vertical distance. I'm going to count the distance it is from this point here until I'm in line with that bottom point. So if I count on here, I'm hitting that line of that point. So that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And since I counted down, that's actually a rise of a negative 6. When you count down, that's negative. Now I want to count from this point until I hit this point. I'm going to count the rise next. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And since I counted to the right, that is a positive 9. So down is negative, to the right is positive. So right now I have a slope of negative 6 over 9. I see I can reduce this slope, so I'm going to divide out what's in common. 6 and 9 both share a 3. So if you divide out a 3 from each term, you would have your slope equal to a negative 2 thirds. So the slope of this line is a negative 2 thirds. You could have also gotten that by using your slope formula, subtracting your y coordinates over your x coordinates, and then simplifying. You'll get to that exact same slope. So for this one, here's the exit ticket link for the slope lesson. This is the 7.07 lesson. Just a reminder though that this exit ticket is going to replace your quiz score, so it's advantageous for you to take your time and answer each question carefully. If you don't take your time and you just rush through it and you score badly, it's not going to improve your quiz score. This serves as a retake of the quiz in the course.